like going on random side quests?
Isn't it good to do something like you've never done before? It makes life so much better.
Like figuring out the unknowns.
Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened today if I would have stopped.
Exactly. Oh, I know. Like that. So I guess to catch everybody up, I stopped these two gentlemen because I honestly want to get some insight in how. I think what I said was I want to see men and women like this and support each other. And right now I feel it's very much chaotic and toxic in a lot of ways. So I think like my first question to you guys is, in your experience with women, yeah, I can see it. Have you ever, and it's cool if you haven't, but have you ever been on the receiving end of something a woman has said that made you feel completely loved? Like genuinely, like and honestly, have you ever dated or had an intimate connection with a woman that when you were like, oh shit, I feel unconditionally loved?
Yeah, that's my wife right now.
Really?
Yeah, we've been together since we were 15 years old, so it's been kind of like a learning process and growing and just taking it step by step. But yeah, for sure, it's less words, but it's more of action. And just kind of association with, this new outlook on our relationship. We have a daughter on the way, so she's a week away.
Oh my God.
She'll be here in a week or two, max. She's 38 weeks right now, so.
This is your first?
Yeah, this is my daughter. She's gonna be a girl. Her name's Katie.
Oh my God! Congratulations.
I appreciate it. I can't wait. Any second now. It could literally be any day.
Like any time.
Any time right now. It could be any time.
That's a really good answer because words often fall short, and there's like when you think about like just actions, I'm sure you've had other experiences with women, and there's a reason why she's your wife, right? Is there anything she's done action-wise where you were like, oh, this is different, why she became your wife, whereas other women didn't? So there's something about her.
She's not like, she's not so worldly.
Ooh.
She's not so like, focused on trying to present herself for other people or put a facade on or like, and she's feminine, she's real, she's like, honestly, I don't know what would be wrong because she does everything right. So it's not like,
wow.
It's not like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not, how do I find the words for it? I don't know, it's more of just like playing her, like she plays her role, right? You know what I mean? She knows how to play her role, and it's kind of just been, I think part of it is because we grew up together, and like I said, we've been together. We got together a second time when we were 15, but the first time we ever dated when we were like 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
So we met again when we were 15, and ever since then we've been just, it's been some on and off, but everything we've kind of just, it's more about the people that we became together rather than who we were separately, you know? Like,
And how have you changed because of her love for you? That maybe wouldn't have happened without her. I mean, that may not have anything to do with your story, but
I feel just like she kind of gave me more security and kind of put me into a more just masculine place in my life and a more leadership role. And like, especially I think part of it is because of my daughter, but like, she's just always, I feel like she knows and sees my potential, so she's always held me accountable and kind of just kind of just not push me, but like just being with me along the way. You know what I mean? Because I went through multiple things, but
How in the world does she hold you accountable without pissing you off? Because men tend to feel very threatened or defensive in terms of when women need or want men to show up in a certain way. And I think what men forget or have never realized is it's only coming from a place because women want men so badly. They want men in a sense where they can be safe and close to them. And I feel like those things get triggered and men don't realize it's because we love them, not because we don't want them. It's because we do. And so, shit, there was a point to that. Because I was asking, how does she hold you accountable without it you feeling disrespected? That's my question. How does she hold you accountable? Like when, let's say, your feelings get hurt, how does she approach you without it pissing you off or it feeling like you guys are in it together rather than a conflict?
more of a like, instead of nagging, it's more of a like, bringing it to my attention,
Like, hey.
like, I don't know. For example, like,
Example.
like a couple months ago, I was doing pills really bad. I was popping pills every day. And so it was kind of just like suppressing my emotions and like who I was destined to become as a man and as a father. And without kind of nagging at me, she just kind of like in a way kind of cleared my vision on like who I am and who I'm really meant to be. Because when we first got together, I was really ambitious and I was really like just rooted in just becoming successful and you know what I mean. And then I got a little bit of success and I just kind of like got comfortable and stuff. And she was kind of just there to kind of remind me, not force anything on me, but just remind me of who I am and also be like an accessory to my success, you know, rather than me having to wake up and do my laundry or cook my food. It's just like, you know, like she plays a woman's role really good, and so it's like she's almost like a mom to me, you know what I mean? Not a mom, but like
You feel support on and it sounds like, always tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you feel really supported by her in the ways you need to be. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
I feel like nurturing.
Yeah, so that's what you're trying to say. That's why you used the word mom. Maybe you weren't, that was the closest word, but it's really nurturing.
Yeah, it's because like female energy, like real caring, real like, you know.
Yeah, and
Warm.
you can tell, like, I can tell, like, I look at a lot of women nowadays and they're caught up in, like just like I said, worldly things. Like,
Example?
they have no, I don't know, they just focus on the wrong things. And it's not necessarily their fault because that's the world that we're brought up in nowadays, but, like, it's just, I feel like a lot of women aren't really independent. They're not really, like, good at making their own decisions or deciding who they want to become.
Yeah, I feel like very like male focused and very social media influence.
Yeah, women or men have.
So like men are at the center of women's lives.
Just because of their environment, though. Just because of what women are seeing around them,
Yeah.
and because of what women around them are like perceiving as okay.
Yeah.
Is now they're like, okay, so the center of my life is a man, so I need to find a man so I can base my life. Instead of like starting and doing their own thing and then finding a man, they're
That's the
finding
problem,
a man
brother.
to base their life.
No women know
Yes,
themselves.
Yes.
A lot of women don't know themselves. That's the problem.
Wow.
So they're just hurting people in the process of trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
You guys are blowing my mind a little bit because you just took it to what I think is the whole root of the thing. I think you guys just. How old are you guys? I'm a little blown away by you. You guys are young.
I'm 21. I just turned 21 August 4th.
I'm saying also.
I see really good things for you guys in the future. If you know this now, do you know how far ahead you guys are?
Yeah,
Has anyone told you?
We were talking about it yesterday.
Really?
Like, if you once you realize that you have the ability to pull your brain out of like the normal functions of like everybody else and worried about like everything on an everyday basis that's going on.
Yeah.
Once you can start thinking about other stuff,
Yeah.
then like you're gonna be set free. Because
What I
now
say
you-
is, what I
Yes.
said yesterday is like it's a gift from God to be blessed with the mindset to be able to create success and be intellectual, be like spiritually like aware. You know what I mean? Like just aware. So I mean like not a lot of people. There's a lot of people out here that I don't even think they're aware. You know what I mean? So it's just a blessing to be able to be aware and
That you already.
can't take it for granted. You know what I mean? Like we only get one life, so I'm glad that I'm aware. I've kind of been going through like a little bit of a tough time lately finding myself, but you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm just grateful that I'm like aware of my emotions and my actions and like where I need to go. You know what I mean? And most of it hasn't been me. You know what I mean? It's really been my relationship with God and like continuing to grow my faith and stuff like that. But you know, if you're intellectually, if you even have a little bit of, you know what I mean, like feeling, like you know deep inside what you're meant to be and who you're meant to be. But
Yes, I agree.
if you choose to ignore it, you choose to ignore it. But I feel like it's really a gift and it shouldn't be taken for granted to know who you are inside and to really pursue that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not everybody's brain can create those thoughts.
Because why?
Not everybody's brain can create those thoughts.
Not only that, but like we're all different. You know what I mean? We're all the same, but we're all different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just a blessing to like kind of just live your life. You know what I mean? Because nobody can live your life like you. So it's just like
Yes.
it's just really like I don't know. My dad passed away from cancer when I was like 11. So it's just like ever since then, life has been like kind of like there's been some type of what do you say like urgency, urgency to like just create a better life and just not take anything for granted. Health, spirituality, family.
That's beautiful. Before I move on, one more thing for you. If you had the power to like change women, and you could do one thing to change women, that would impact men in a really powerful, positive way. I know it's a big question. Don't take it too seriously. Just like the first thing that comes out. What do you think that would be?
So what would I do to impact women?
Impact or change, either. Because I said change, you said impact. That might even be better. So go with what you feel. What do you think could do the most benefit?
I feel like a lot of women, maybe I don't know if they have no father at all or weak fathers, or if they have weak mothers, or it's just kind of like the society we grow up in now, like lust is a real thing, and I feel like lust kind of tears a lot of relationships apart.
Yeah.
So I feel like women nowadays growing up might not get exactly what they need from their role models. You know what I mean? They might not have. If I could just do one thing, because I know that even that's affected my life. You know, like like I said, like my pops and everything like that. But it's just like if you grew up with the right people in your life, like that's what I would do for not just women in general, but women and men, because that would, you know what I mean, like help women and men understand their role a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that growing up and just you're programming your subconscious mind to who you are and who you're supposed to be and what your role is in this world. Like that's a lot of people are just like distracted. It's not necessarily lost, but it's just distracting. You know?
Totally. There's so many things to get distracted in too. So good. Wow. Love it. So, in terms of your experience with women, would you even be able to say it's been positive or negative? Or is that too polarizing? How would you describe your relationship with women in any sense, like romantically or just whatever?
I definitely feel like I'm really more so thinking about the question you had just asked, and it's like I feel like that's a real big one, because if there was like one thing I could change about women per se, I feel like it could also apply to men as well. Because I feel like if I was able to educate the majority of women on like the way that the male mind like reacts and receives actions and like like things for women, that I feel like that would help everything so much better. So then we'd be able to understand each other more, and we could communicate in a way that like is productive to each other. And I feel like even if I can educate the majority of men on the way that the female mind receives the way that we act, then it would just help us be able to communicate efficiently.
Right.
So I feel like efficiency is like a real big thing for me, and like just like not doing like, I don't know, I just don't like taking the long route to do stuff or doing extra stuff. Like, I like simplicity.
Me too.
So
like the diagonal path.
Yeah. Simplicity. And I feel like if we can educate each other on like our minds and the way that they receive, the way that we talk to each other, then things would be a lot simpler, because there wouldn't be like any misunderstandings about like upsetting each other, making each other sad, making like anything like that.
Have you noticed that a lot of these conversations, in my experience, sometimes conversations like this, men want to have them over text. I can't even say it without laughing, because it's just such a loaded situation to have a conversation like that on text. And in my experience, and this, I would say, I was going to say it's not anyone's fault, but I'm going to take that back. I think there is fault. I think there's both, actually, because I'm a believer that two opposing truths can be true at the same time, like both, not either or, but both. Yeah. Because when you think about it, like if I told you to go over to that car and give me information about, like if I asked you a question about that car, and you came back and you gave me an answer that I didn't think was right, well, that's because you could have been squatting looking up and your view was different, and maybe I was standing right there in the front. So who's right? Maybe we're both right. Maybe you're not right with my perspective and where I'm going and where I'm at in life and what I will and won't accept, but you can be right about your experience, right? And unfortunately, I think that's what this comes down to, is when I've tried or made an attempt to communicate my experience to a man, I don't want to say this, but the majority of the time is the truth. There's a very big defensive trigger reaction. And honestly, I think the only reason for that is because people, as human beings, like we internalize other people's emotions without accepting that that's your experience, that's my experience. I don't have to be threatened by that, because I feel like what people don't understand about conflict is it's an opportunity for intimacy, because of exactly what you said, the lack of understanding. And if there's no understanding, people are going to be throwing shit back in their faces.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not even knowing where the shit fucking came from. And that's what drives me insane. It's like just wanting to have an honest conversation with someone I care about, and I'm not allowed to, because in my experience, the person across from me, or let's say across texting from me, because unfortunately I feel like that's a armor sometimes that's kept up to kind of prevent more authenticity or more pain, by doing it in person. But I feel like it's the misunderstanding and the lack of communication.
Like, you can't tell tone or
body
anything.
language, because most of communication is actually body language. Like 10 years from now, you guys won't remember what we talked about, but you'll remember how you felt when you walked away from me. Same thing with, like, I'll remember you too because of that. I'll remember being impressed by you. I'll remember being delighted that you took a risk to talk to a stranger, and kind of make my day, because I want to live each day like I don't know if there's tomorrow, because that's the only way that makes life fucking worth it. Yeah. For me, it's a lot about freedom, and I notice that with men, it's that too, freedom. And that's what connects me to men in a lot of ways. However, I've learned that men's definition of freedom is different than mine, because in a relationship where there's communication, that doesn't feel like a trap to me. That doesn't feel like a prison. But for men, it feels like it is, because they don't want to be seen in some way that looks weak. And it feels like talking about emotions with men is just, at least in men that are interested in me, it's like off the table. And I didn't know that I was walking on eggshells till just recently, where I wouldn't say things because I'm laughing because these are grown men and this is ridiculous on my part. But I just realized that I was over nurturing, like what you guys were talking about, in order to make them feel more comfortable, to kind of prevent that shame, because I want to move forward and open up. But what I realized is, if I can't speak like I would speak with you, then it doesn't matter, because if they're not, this strength and this, whatever this is that you guys are giving to me, I don't get that from men that are interested in me. And I think it's really comes down to there's not a willingness for communication. And so, let's say authentic communication. So why do you think you feel comfortable? Because I can feel from your energy that doesn't intimidate me in any way, shape, or form. That, like, I feel a solidity. Like, I feel like you're super solid in yourself. And like you can communicate. And always tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm intuitive and I'm just picking up on the energy. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this. I forgot what my point was, but there was something I was trying to come back to you about in communication.
Yeah.
Oh, do you experience that with women when I experience with men, when you come, let's say, to the proverbial metaphorical table to want to do what we're talking about with women, just like the same conversation you would have with a friend. In your experience, are women open to that when you approach them with this kind of energy, or are women really wounded in the experiences that you've had? Because it's not fair to generalize women as wounded, or, but...
And you mean in the sense of, like, coming to a woman to discuss, like, how I'm feeling and...
Like, let's say you're interested in a woman and a woman's interested in you, and you guys both know that, but maybe it hasn't been talked about. It's like that early. And then you can, and everything's going along, that way you want it to go. And then something happens and no one says anything, but you can feel either someone, what's the word?
Pushing or pulling?
Yes. How do you handle that when you want to be closer, but you can feel them going farther?
Well, I feel like it's kind of something you have to think about in a lot of different perspectives. I kind of like to think in a lot of different perspectives and different situations are going.
Like different angles. That's what I do.
Yeah, because it's like I can full blown rush one thought process, and then that thought process could throw me in a spiral in the complete wrong direction. So it's like I really have to think about the way that female reacts to certain conflicts, and not even just conflicts, but even contact. So it's I have to think about if she's gonna I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain
without an example, but it sounds like you're saying you actually make a conscious effort to think about the situation and the person before you do it. That's what it sounds like. So you make a real effort to view all angles and consequentially think, how can I approach this in this conversation in a way that will be more of a positive than a negative?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm thinking about I don't know, I'm real big on thinking about how I'm coming across, because I want to make sure that I'm able to communicate how I want to communicate every single time. I don't want to communicate and give the wrong idea or have my words get misconstrued. I want to make sure that I'm clear in how I'm feeling and how I'm trying to communicate every time.
And do women give you that? Well, I shouldn't lump everyone into women, but do you get those opportunities with women? Will women generally allow you that? Or do they kind of shut down?
I feel like a lot of times I do get to voice exactly how I feel, but then there's a lot of times where I have to kind of make it apparent that I'm trying to, I mean a certain thing, and I have to point out the key details to where it's I'm showing that I mean just that, because I feel like I mean, men and women, but I feel like women in general, I feel like they'll take what you say and like they're really gonna try to really pick it apart. Like they'll
Find something in it.
yeah, they'll try to find like hidden meanings behind it. And I understand because a lot of men do speak in subliminals as well as women. But me personally, I don't like to do that. I don't like to beat around the bush, or like I'd like to let you know what I'm feeling, because I feel like if not, that's in a way like it has some like childish characteristics.
Yep.
It's like telling your mom like something happened at school today,
Yeah.
you got in trouble, but you don't want to say exactly what.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the teacher might be calling you.
Yeah. That kind of thing. So it's a mixed bag. It depends on probably the person and the context.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But you make an effort. You both obviously make an effort.
I just hate feeling misunderstood myself and feeling like I can't express like exactly how I'm feeling to somebody because of the way that they're receiving my like initial like it's like their first reaction or their first view of me is determining everything else I'm gonna say.
So
from
it
that point on.
colors. It's kind of like
Yeah,
have you ever seen like
coloring a picture of me before I can even like express myself or they even get to know me.
Have you seen like a video with like a cup of water and then I don't know why this is coming to mind. I've never seen a video. But have you ever seen like, you know, the food coloring and then you drop it into a drop of water? It's clear and then it just
So it takes over it?
the entire thing because you can only see the liquid as red now. It's not water. It's not clear anymore. You can't see through it. Now everything you're looking through is red.
Yeah.
And that obviously happens with human beings in general because we're designed to filter everything through our own experiences. So let's say you're telling a woman XYZ, but because of the way of what you're saying in the beginning
That's why I
will
said
trigger
like, while you're growing. That's why I said like growing up and like kind of programming your subconscious mind matters a lot.
matters a
Because how
lot.
you perceive everything really matters. Like you said, like
Because
you're not
we-
perceiving things the right way.
Because we're all coming to the table with baggage, right? And that baggage, it colors our filters. And so when you try to talk, she's gonna bring, this is what we call in psychology projection transference, is we all come with our histories. And people are gonna see you through how they see you. And unfortunately, that gets back to what you guys just hit the nail on the head in the very beginning when I said you guys just hit the root, is that you don't know yourself. And part of knowing yourself is knowing your trauma, knowing your wounds. Nobody gets out of this life without trauma. Nobody gets out of this life alive, right? We're all in the same boat in a lot of those ways. But what I feel like people don't recognize is like, if you want to be free from unnecessary suffering, you have to look at that because you will put it on to every relationship you come across if you're not aware of it and you don't know, oh, that's red. It's not clear anymore. I better dump out the red food coloring and come back with my clear water and then I want to hear you speak. And I think it's hard for human beings to do that, especially when you've been hurt so much. You know? And so if you have that understanding that there's the dye can ruin everything and you want to try life another way, you will literally be astounded.
For sure. Have you ever heard the metaphor of like when you're mad and when you're calm, it's like a pot of boiling water? So basically it's like when you're level-headed and you're going into a conflict, right? You're a pot of just still water.
Okay.
You're fine, you're see-through, everything's calm. But as soon as you start going through conflict, the water starts boiling. And boiling water, you can't look through it, you can't see through it, it's not still,
It
it's not
burns
calm.
you.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
And it's cloudy.
That's true. Yeah, you can't see through it.
You can't see through it, so that's like the same thing as like when you're getting mad. Like you're not seeing everything for what it is in reality, but you're seeing everything to what your brain's telling you, and maybe your environment and your past experiences are already gonna shape what's
That's
coming to your mind
right.
automatically.
And
Like somebody could
Yes.
have complete like they could have great intent, no ill intent and all, but because of what you like been through and your experiences, that's exactly what you're gonna think of that person and like what they're portraying to you at that
When it
point.
comes to being aware, that's really all it boils down to, is just being aware of how you've been affected by experiences and your perception of, like, you know, being aware of your perspective on everything.
Well, you just gave me an idea then. So next time I communicate to a man, first of all, it's never going to happen on text again. The one thing I thought was interesting, something that I thought was interesting is that the feedback was I was yelling, but in text you can't really yell, and I wasn't yelling. However, my energy was very strong, and I felt very hurt. And there was anger on top of that, because it's very natural to feel anger. It's a natural, healthy feeling to feel anger when you're hurt. Now, what you do with that is a different story. I held that responsibly. I communicated that responsibly. However, this person wasn't mature enough to recognize that, and that's okay. But in terms of conversations, you guys just gave me something that I'm going to take with me. I just realized, beyond the eggshell thing, A, I'm not doing that anymore, and B, when I start a conversation, I'm going to start it with what I just figured out with you, which is I'm going to start by taking responsibility and accountability. And you don't have to say specifics to people. You could say something like, I've had experiences with men that have been negative, like many women, and I don't want to put that on you. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to see me vulnerable and me show you my truth. And if you choose to violate or disrespect that or weaponize that against me, you'll never ever see me or talk to me again. But if you choose to respect me and hold this with the respect and gentleness and consciousness it deserves, then I can tell you that this is my baggage, and this is what I'm concerned about happening, and this is why I'm hurt, and this is why I'm angry. What do you have to say?
Like maybe for you though, maybe for you it might be about kind of disconnecting and trying to look for yourself and other people. I feel like maybe, I don't know, like you said, we're just all going off our intuition, but like maybe you should just
You said disconnect.
disconnect from like this fantasy that you need a man to be whole.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And a lot of women their lives are just sacrificed because of that.
And because you can't, in relationships too, you can't, like we already went over, like you can't love anybody until you love yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Genuinely, and a lot of people think, like, listen to the words and they don't like put the action behind it. You cannot love anybody until you love yourself, until you're
That's
happy
true.
with yourself and your life and what you're going through. Like I've always loved my wife, but like when we were growing up, I was always going through lust and this and that and wanting to be seen and, like you said, like this stupid shit, you know what I mean? And it's kind of just boiled down to like I said, like just loving yourself. A lot of people get this notion that they're like need a man or a woman for their, and it's mostly an identity thing. Like,
Yes, it is.
it's like a lot of identity things, but like
And maybe a wound thing, right?
yeah,
for
maybe
sure.
maybe like I said, absent fathers, absent
Yep.
mothers, kind of thing like that. But it's just like
Wanting that need.
being
fulfilled.
aware of your emotions and the way you're being aware of your perceptions, like matters a lot more than
Absolutely.
people think. You know what I mean? Like being aware of your perception is because, like you said, like we're only looking through, you know
Like
what I
a
mean?
keyhole.
A keyhole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And without being aware of the keyhole itself,
Yes.
you can't even
Everybody
begin to unfold and.
Because some
process
people
everything.
don't know that there's things that they don't know that they don't know.
Yeah, the unknown unknown.
And if you have humility, and if you're more committed to, I know truth is a loaded word, but let's just say our personal truth and other people's truth, which I find is really rare, where people actually say, I don't want to argue with your experience, I don't want to fix you, I just want to be present with you.
Coexist.
You know, and I think that changes everything. So I feel like that's a good place to end, because this just became the most amazing conversation. Can I give you guys a hug? Because you guys are amazing.
Sorry, I think I just came from the
I don't care. I don't care. I was dancing. Oh my God, you guys. You guys are amazing. I'm going to stop this. if I can.